Hi, everyone. Hi. All right. I'm doing this live stream from Vietnam. I'm actually in Hanoi, Vietnam. I came here yesterday. It's like summer here. It's really warm. It was in the 90s. It was in the 90s yesterday. Yeah, today is still also very warm. I haven't got the chance to really explore the city. I went out to eat last night with some friends. And for the first time, I rode on a moped. It was actually quite scary. It was during the rush hour, and there were cars and mopeds. Everyone was, all riding on the major streets of Hanoi. It was quite something, but I think local people get used to that. All right. Let's get started. Where was I? Okay. We're going to talk about the two sessions. Yeah, because of jet lag and the limited time that I have, I want to talk just to give you an update on what's going on in Beijing. The two sessions is being held there. And I summarized pretty much everything that I could find related to the event. So the title of this live stream is called Everything You Should Know About the Two Sessions. So let's first talk about what happened before the two sessions. Now, a little bit background information. It's called the two sessions because there are two events, two conferences being held simultaneously or concurrently. The first one is the People's Congress, and the second one is the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference. So both events are annual, and they're usually held in the spring. So for short, Chinese people call them the two sessions. And they're designated as the Chinese-style democracy because the delegates were sent by the people to convene annually to discuss major national policies. But in reality, they are really just political shows the CCP puts on to legitimize its rule. Even though it's just a show event, they're still very interesting to watch and analyze because they give us a lot of the two sessions give us interesting insight. Sorry, I'm just moving my laptop. I'm actually sitting here. This laptop is sitting on the chair. It's not very stable. So they're interesting events to watch. I like to analyze them because they do review the current status quo of the regime. First of all, the CCP has put the city on high security alert more than a week ago. So since February the 23rd, people can't enter Beijing without special permission. I've seen videos showing people queued up in other parts of the country applying for a special permission to go to Beijing. And if they don't have the special permission, they will be likely stopped on highway checkpoints or even on trains and airports, stopped at airport. Now, bridges and overpasses in Beijing are assigned special security guards. Police cars are present on every street corner in Beijing near the meeting venue. Parcel delivery services are delayed due to additional security checks. I mean, parcel deliveries into Beijing are delayed due to security checks. Previously, we've seen reports that 3,000 Chinese leukemia patients were planning to organize a petition event in Beijing to raise their issue to the attention of the delegates, the thousands of delegates. These people, these leukemia patients, suspect that they got leukemia because of Chinese COVID vaccines. We haven't seen anything in Beijing, so these people probably were prevented from going into Beijing because of the special permission requirement. Despite high security alert, unfortunate events and bad news still shadowed the two sessions. On the first day of the CCP's high-profile event, an explosion in Beijing, in a Beijing neighborhood, completely shattered windows and doors of at least 2 apartments on the top floors of a building. Falling debris hit a passerby walking on the ground. Now, the info was completely or is completely censored on Chinese internet. We don't know the cause of the explosion. The timing of the explosion made it very sensitive. Recently, Beijing has seen a lot of fires. In the month of February alone, there have been at least 28 fires in Beijing. And people say it's caused by the inflamed batteries of EV vehicles, including electric mopeds. Are they all EV-induced fires or some are arsons? We don't know. But the quality of Chinese-made EVs are of great concerns right now. In highly dense Chinese neighborhoods, parked EVs and electric mopeds are the dangerous source of fires now. Other than the explosion, earthquakes around China made people call this year's two sessions earth-shattering. Yes, it is earth-shattering. On the first day of the sessions, Xinjiang, Liaoning, Gansu, Xizang all had earthquakes on one day, on the first day of the session. So, in traditional Chinese culture, earthquake is a sign that foretells the downfall of a dynasty or the death of an emperor. In 1976, for example, the infamous Tangshan earthquake took place during the summer, a couple of months before Mao Zedong died in September of that year. So people can't help but making that association now that many earthquakes happen on the same day, on the beginning day of a CCP's high-profile event. The two sessions are held at a time when China's faltering economy is causing worldwide concerns. Now, on the day before the session, state media, the Economic Daily, published an editorial titled "Understanding the Advantage or the Advantages and Potentials of China's Economic Development." The article gave 4 advantages, and I think they're very eye-opening. They shed light on the direction that China is going to in the next couple of years. The first advantage is the socialist system under the leadership of the CCP. The second advantage is China's ability to sustain its economy independently without outside support. The third is the advantage of being able to control key resources. The fourth is having a human capital advantage, which can bring out great returns in the new wave of technological revolution. Now, the above 4 advantages are pretty much the verbatim translation of the Chinese article. But what do they mean, right? The language is a CCP language, but if you paraphrase the CCP language by using a language that we can understand, it's pretty much saying the following. The first advantage has to do with the fact that the CCP leadership has made China superior when compared with other forms of government. Okay, so the first advantage is attributable to CCP's leadership. It thinks it's superior to other form of leadership or government style. And the second advantage, it's saying now we can better survive economic downturns because we're not afraid of letting our people live in poverty. So it used the word 内循环, like internal circulation or internal. Basically, it's saying that it's not afraid to let Chinese economy to cut ties completely from the outside world, losing all outside support. But the underlying message is saying that we have an advantage over the West because we're not afraid to let our people suffer poverty. And number three, it's saying that we have an advantage over the West because we can control resources centrally, while democratic societies cannot because they have a powerful private sector which weakens their government's control. So that's third advantage. Fourth, it's saying that we have people and lots of smart people who know how to obtain key information and beat out the West in the next round of the tech war. Right? Because, I mean, from the recent, what's the name of that company that the Chinese spyware company, Soon? Remember? So it's saying that we have a lot of smart people who know how to steal information or obtain information from the West, and in the end, we are going to beat out the rest of the world in the tech war. So based on this article, I think it's obvious that Xi Jinping is further shutting down China and will return the Chinese society to the Maoist era, but he won't stop the tech war with the West because he is still ambitious in achieving a technological advantage over the West. So the above article was published by the Economic Daily and the day before the two sessions. So I think the timing and then the publisher pretty much set the direction for China, for the Chinese economy for the next couple of years. Now let's talk about the two sessions. Although I said it's a PR event for the regime, the outside world can still obtain information about CCP politics. The most important event of the two sessions is the Chinese Premier's press conference at the end of the two sessions. It's the concluding event. CCP leaders rarely hold press conference, nor do they interact with press, particularly foreign press. So the Premier is the only leader who speaks with the press directly. And this has been going on for the past 30 years. However, this year, the spokesman of the People's Congress announced that the Premier's press conference would be canceled and it wouldn't be held in the future unless there are special circumstances. So the cancellation of this highly anticipated event shut down or has shut down the only chance the CCP leadership has to interact with the foreign press. It shocked both the Chinese and foreign observers. Chinese media platform NetEase republished an old article. It's one of its old articles from 2014 titled "The History of Premier's Press Conference." The article pretty much just gave a history of how the press conference came about and gave some of the statistics of the Premier's press conference. However, the article touched on the sensitive nerve of the top leader and is now banned and removed. According to a saved version circulating outside China, I'm going to give you some of the highlights of the article. It does review some of the very interesting details. So the PRC's first premier, Zhou Enlai, had held press conferences himself. After he died, the first official premier's news conference was in 1988 with the newly elected Premier Li Peng. Li and his three vice premiers hosted a press conference with 400 Chinese and foreign journalists. He hosted again in 1991 at the end of his term as the premier. And in 1992, there was no press conference. It was suspended because then CCP leader Jiang Zemin and Deng Xiaoping were fighting over China's direction of economic reforms. So it was not until 1993 when Zhu Rongji became the premier, and that's when this premier's press conference became an annual event at the end of the 2 sessions. And Premier Zhu Rongji and Wen Jiabao really made the press conference interesting and worthwhile, because they from time to time disclose their personal views at the press conference. So it usually ran between 1.5 hours to 2.5 hours. And the longest was in 2012 with Premier Wen Jiabao. It was his last press conference, and it went over 3 hours. Now, interestingly, this press conference favors foreign press. So, for example, let's take the 2007 press conference as an example. Can you guys hear the noise? It's I could hear traffic outside my window, so I hope the noise is okay. It's tolerable for you guys. This camera, this laptop needs to be elevated. But anyways, so for example, 2007, of the 750 invitations sent, domestic press only received 200 invitations. 200 invitations were sent to Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwanese media outlets, and 350 were sent to foreign press. So you see, it's mostly press outside China. And according to the NetEase article, foreign journalists got more chances to ask questions than domestic ones. So for example, at Zhu Rongji's 1999 press conference, 5 out of 8 questions they answered were from foreign journalists. During the 10 years when Wen Jiabao was the premier, every year he picked 6 to 7 foreign journalists to ask him a question. And if you combine all of the questions from the foreign press, American media got the most chances. They got a total of 28 times. They got picked 28 times. British media got 17 times, and Japanese got 11 chances. And the percentage of the questions on economic matters is getting higher and higher. And the most memorable moments of the press conference were Li Keqiang's disclosure that 600 million Chinese lived with monthly income of 1,000 yuan or $150 or less. And that was at Premier Li Keqiang's 2020 press conference. Now, another memorable event was Wen Jiabao's hint of Bo Xilai's downfall at his last press conference in 2012. After his press conference, the following day, Bo Xilai was arrested. It was also his, at that press conference, Wen Jiabao also famously said that without political reforms, Cultural Revolution might likely return to China. So another memorable moment was Wen Jiabao's answer to the question if he liked being called the economic czar of China. And his answer was that he said, "I'm angry at that title. I'm angry at being called the economic czar." So now that you know the background and then the highlights of this press conference, now that this is canceled, it ended an era, right? And people wonder if Xi Jinping, people wonder why Xi Jinping ended that tradition of 30 years. With Premier Li Qiang being personally picked by him, the chances that being disobedient to him is very, very small, right? There are pictures and videos showing how Li kept a distance, made sure that Xi Jinping got all the limelight at the 2 sessions. And he spoke with Xi Jinping by lowering his body. So his body language showed that Li Qiang is so obedient, to him. And there's a video, I want to share with you a video that shows how Li Qiang, how they they time, the CCP officials want to make sure that they do not applaud before the top leader does. So there's a video showing on the internet, circulating on the internet, showing how Li Qiang made sure that Xi Jinping had already applauded before raising his hand to applaud. I'll share with you that video. Here it is. Are you able to see that? Okay. Okay. See how Xi Jinping applaud? What happened? Here we go. It's playing again. You look, see, he looks, and then raised his hand. And Wang Huning did the same thing. Wang Huning raised his hand. The person on the far left is Wang Huning. Okay. Anyways, here we go. And then Wang Huning raised his hand to applaud. Yeah. All right. I don't know if you can get that, but that's the video that's circulating on X within the Chinese community. Anyways, yeah, so the question is, why would he not allow somebody who is so obedient, who's to him, why would he worry? I think there are 4 reasons. I think Xi Jinping, first of all, Xi Jinping doesn't have the concern. Xi Jinping doesn't worry much about Li Qiang, because Li Qiang wouldn't do what Li Keqiang did, by accidentally or intentionally disclose information that would displease Xi Jinping. Like he does not have this worry. Or I think 4, I shouldn't say reasons. There are 4 things that we can kind of conclude from the fact that Xi Jinping canceled Li's press conference. The first, it shows that Xi Jinping doesn't care about doing any more PR work with the outside world. This event was pretty much a PR event with the foreign press. And this is another signal that he's shutting down China. It's consistent with the message from the Economic Daily editorial that I mentioned earlier. Maybe he felt that such PR work is difficult to do as the world is more aware of CCP's ugly internal politics. Or maybe he felt that such PR work is impossible to do. So I think it shows that he does not care about doing PR work anymore. And the second is the economy no longer matters to him. The most important job of the premier is the economy. And part of the reasons of holding the press conference is to give the outside world confidence in China's economic reforms, right? And, give people the confidence of China's outlook. And this is now becoming more and more difficult. It's mission impossible. So rather than putting Li Qiang on the spot to be grilled by foreign press, canceling the press conference would at least save the regime's face. It would definitely save Xi Jinping's face, because everyone knows Xi is the mastermind behind China's economic direction now, not the premier. So that's the second reason. The third reason is internal politics or internal political infighting is getting out of control, and the State Council and Li Qiang's authority is further weakened. The top CCP leadership is now comprised of 3 people: Xi Jinping, Cai Qi, and Li Qiang. The infighting between Cai Qi and Li Qiang has been out in the open, right? Because people have been talking about Cai is gaining more power and Li is losing his authorities. So this is another sign that Li and his state council are becoming a secondary Xi Jinping's office after, the other office that Cai Qi manages for Xi Jinping. Now, Li Qiang may not object to the arrangement, by the way. He may be very willing to play a lesser role. Although he appears to be losing in this political infighting, he may be playing it safe, because as he does less and less for Xi Jinping, his risk of becoming Xi Jinping's scapegoat one day is also reducing. It may be Li's long-term strategy to protect himself. Under Xi, it's impossible for officials to accomplish anything now, particularly because Xi Jinping micromanages everything. So Li Qiang, the premier, may as well just stay low-key and hang in there, do whatever. The fourth reason is the regime is chaotic. I think this is a very important reason. The regime internally is chaotic. And Xi Jinping has too many problems that he doesn't want the outside world to know, nor does he have any ways of explaining them. Having a press conference would inadvertently expose Li Qiang to the risk of being not able to handle any questions that they ask, that they throw at him, right? Questions about the former foreign minister Li Qinggang's whereabouts, the defense minister Li Shangfu's, downfall, the status of the PLA and then the rocket force, what's happening in the South China Sea, what's happening in the Taiwan Strait, the undercover PLA soldiers, as fishermen who fell in the near the Cayman Island, right? And also Wang Yi's replacement. The fact that Wang Yi is playing the role of a foreign minister is temporary. Who is going to replace him? These are all sensitive subjects. By the way, Li Shangfu's delicate status in the People's Conference was removed, but it wasn't officially announced. A Singaporean media accidentally discovered it by asking the spokesman of the People's Congress, and he said that he's no longer a delegate. So the possible questions, and there are other possible questions about the economy, the troubled financial market, and then the troubled real estate sector, the recent hard position the EU took on China. I mean, these are all nightmarish questions that China's premier, may possibly get, and Xi Jinping cannot afford to having, say anything wrong, because some people say the CCP has entered garbage time, and anything, and Xi Jinping is avoiding anything that could trigger an event that may cause the regime's downfall. And the wrong answer by his premier may start something that he cannot control, and he's avoiding that proactively. And from this perspective, I think Xi Jinping will certainly shut down the country, without the doubt, because if he's canceling this press conference, to avoid any situation, he would definitely shut down China. And so that's what I can gather from the two sessions, and that's what I want to share with you. All right. I don't know if I have much time to take questions from people. Actually, I'm just looking at these questions. Oh, I have some super chat questions. Okay. So, well, thank you. Before the questions, I want to tell you, on my trip, the best comment that I got from, on this trip, I met Chris, my editor. Chris, are you there? So I finally met my editor, Chris, in person, and some of the people that he works with. And then the best comment that I got from them is that they said, after meeting me in person, they said that you look so much better in person than on camera, and we need to fix your lighting and your camera when you return, because because you look better. And I think I think they're right. I'm not very good at setting up lighting and and using camera and all these gadgets. So I think that's the best comment that I've heard in a long time. Most people look better on camera than in real person, but I'm the other way around. So I'm very, very happy. I'm very happy because of that comment. Anyways, I want to share that with you. Let me see. I have super chat questions from them. Sorry. From Brian Cow. Well, thank you, Brian, for the support. From Master G Big, $20. Thank you. Thank you. I could use that money to cover my trip. David Lopan. Hi, David. You should incorporate membership levels. It will help you channel grow. You will gain more monetary support. I wish you the best, Lei. God bless you. Well, thank you, David. How's your training going on? Yeah, well, thank you very much for the suggestion. I've been thinking about membership, but the problem with the membership is that you have to produce special program for the members, right? So that they get their money worth. And I'm already so stressed out, in producing programs, and I'm on one-woman team. So trying to create another level of content production is something that I haven't really figured out how to handle yet. So, but I'm welcoming any suggestions you have. And my thinking is, I make high quality contents and make free to everyone. And those of you who have the financial means and want to support me are certainly welcome to. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not going through trouble of doing membership, but if tell me. All right. Let me see. Oh, here's from Such Black. Salute to your dedication from India. Well, thank you. Thank you. All right. Did I go through all the super chats? No, that's all. Okay, I'll just pick some questions. Where is Lei traveling to? Okay, I'm in Vietnam. I have left Taiwan. My first impression, I'm going to wrap up this live stream soon and start to look for food. I have not eaten anything today. And my first impression, I was very surprised to see how developed Vietnam is. I mean, to be honest with you, I can't really tell the difference from downtown Hanoi to downtown Taipei. I mean, there's really no difference. In some way, Hanoi is more. I mean, I haven't been to other parts of Hanoi, but it's like a modern city. So it's very developed. And also at the airport, there's so many Westerners coming to Vietnam. I'm surprised by the amount of foreign nationals coming to Vietnam at the airport. And there was just a unbelievable long lines of people waiting at the border control. So, yeah. How's Winnie the Pooh from Michael? Did you bring it with you? No, it would take too much space in my luggage. No. It's sitting on my desk. Let's see. Mitsu, do you think we'll soon be able to buy Taiwan mopeds outside there? I think they could do well in the US and elsewhere. Yeah. I think so. I think they're better than the Chinese-made ones because that's talking about the number of fires we've seen in China recently because of these electric mopeds is troubling. Because Chinese, they sometimes move their mopeds to their apartment, right, for fear of theft, and they caught fire inside their home. These mopeds, while charging, become inflamed, and they started a fire, and that explains a lot of the fires in China recently. From Jana Bergwin, thank you, Jana. From vegan T-Rex. Oh, bad internet. All right. I think that's all. I'll continue to share with you my observations of Vietnam. I'm thinking about maybe doing the program outside, maybe outdoors somewhere. But meanwhile, I'll enjoy my visit here. It's warm. Somebody said that they want to see me in in summer clothes, because I've been wearing winter clothes for the past couple of months. It is hot here. I will enjoy the warm weather here, and I'll see you in a couple of days. Okay? All right. Good night, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Oh, thank you from Chinese Pride. Thank you. Your thoughts on CCP involvement in Ukraine? That's a very big topic. That's very complex. China is going back and forth. I'm getting so much conflicting information out of China about what China is going to do with its Russia-Ukraine relations. So I'm trying to sift through all the information, trying to see what is real and what is false. It's some say that China is going to cut the tie with Russia and turn to Ukraine. But then I start to question if that's fake information intentionally released by the CCP to get us to think in that direction. So I haven't formed my opinion yet, but I'll keep looking in that direction. Thank you very much. I'm hungry. I need to go get some food, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.